Well, good morning and welcome everyone. This is the Diana Wright Show live, and this is our 10:30 hour, and we welcome you to the program from around the world and in the United States. And thank you so much for joining us. It is a great day. It is a great day to discover that you truly love yourself, as you truly and believe in yourself, and doing it with passion by saying, I love me. Ladies, when you're putting on your makeup, when you're washing your face, whatever you're doing in the morning, first thing you need to do is just reflect on yourself and tell yourself how much you love yourself, because it's important. And then make sure you pass it on to your children, because you see, you never know when the moment would have passed and you did not do it, and you're no longer here to do so. And if we reinforce that in our children, then we truly know. And I hope that when you woke up this morning and you opened up your boxes, whether it's gold or purple or both for that matter, whether it is in your imagination or you do it physically, then it's great. And I hope that you found in that box today the gift that God truly gave you. What is the gift that God truly gave you? Have you taken the time to meditate, to think, to realize that each and every one of us on this planet is given a gift by God, and it's what you do with that gift that is your gift to God. So what is your gift today? Do you know what your gift is? Or are you just sitting there being jealous of someone else who has a gift? Because you see, when you look at someone else who has a gift, who is using their gift and their talent that God gave them to do something, and you sit back, then you have jealousy creeping into the equation because you are not tapping into your gift. I don't care what the gift is. Each and every one of us have a gift. The thing that you're gifted at, I will not be able to do. And if I can't do it because I try to do everything and will try to pursue everything, I may not just be doing it as good as you are, because that is your gift. So what is your gift and what is your contribution that you can make? As I listened to a preacher this morning who spoke about gifts, that was T.D. Jakes, and another preacher who talked about a man in another country, not the United States, that developed umbrellas that would open and close at places like bus stops and, crossing points. So if it rains, and you forgot your umbrella that day, you could go underneath that umbrella and get shelter from the rain. And if you so happen to, be crossing the street or something, that umbrella opens for you if it's raining and you have no umbrella, because there's a sensor in that mechanism that makes that happen. So what is your gift? Who knew that could happen? Who knew that I would take a phrase as simple as I love me and turn it into a brand of I love me t-shirts, of I love me CD, and a book called Deadly Negligence, In the Depth of My Tragedy, that shows me that if I did not love myself and if I did not teach my daughter to love herself, we would not have emerged from the devastation and tragedy. So where are you this morning with your gift? What are you doing with that gift? Are you just saying, my gift is so-and-so, but, really can't do much for me? I saw a man who's an engineer, an electrical engineer to be specific, who was down on his luck, and then he came up with some invention that made some part of the electrical profession much easier, much better. And then he made millions. And he was older, all the way in his, I think, early 60s or late 50s. So it's never too late for a shower of rain for you to tap into your gift. I told you about the man who was almost homeless in Georgia yesterday, who decided that he was not going to give up because he lost his construction job. Not his job, but his business, because he actually had a business. Other guys that he found living in the woods behind a grocery store, a supermarket. But they were all skilled. They all had gifts that were given to them. But they needed an opportunity to be able to move from the woods, not live in the woods anymore, not be homeless anymore. Now they can rent a room. So what is your gift? And what are you willing to do to exercise that gift? Welcome from around the world and in the United States. And I don't care what part of the planet you are. If this word from the Diana Wright Show Live is reaching you, I want you to dig deep and find that gift. And I want you to go down deep in your spirit and exercise that gift. Because giving up is not an option. Failure is not an option. But if you fail at going to the first point with your gift, then just keep on pressing. Keep on believing. Keep on being faithful, having unmerited favor. Keep on having crazy blind faith. Because I promise you, at the end, it will all come to something, but you have to work at it. It's not going to just fall in your lap. You got to do something. You got to move. You got to get going on that gift. So I hope and trust that when you open those boxes this morning, that's what you found. Because I found all my gifts that I am wishing for and hoping for in my boxes today. A clothing line and all the other things, living in a European country. What are you thinking for? What are you hoping for? I know what my gift is. My gift is to do just what I'm doing right here. Designing is also one of my gifts. Decorating. But I exercise that every day in my house, even though I'm not a professional interior designer. And if friends ask me to help, I do help. So what is your gift? And believe me, each and every one of us, we have many gifts. We're just not tapping into them. And we need to, and we must. Because that, my friends, when you love yourself and you tap into your gift and you do what you want to do and what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what makes you even love yourself more, life just seems to be so much more beautiful. So raise yourself up. My Angelou says, I will rise again. And no matter what the enemy tries to do to you, because the enemy tries to attack all of us, but we just have to push the enemy down, forget about the enemy and the devil, and think our positive thoughts that we must think on a daily basis. So whether you're old or young and you're watching me today, whether you're sick or not so sick, and even if you're sick, you can try to do the wellness thing to get you back to wellness. Because even when you're on the verge of going, only one supernatural being can save you from going. No man can. But your faith can. Because the scripture tells us that he went around and he healed everyone. Yeah? Including the man with a withered hand, the blind person, the person with leprosy, the woman with the issue of blood, raising Lazarus from the dead, raising the man's daughter from the dead. And we can go on and on and on. So what is your gift? What are you sitting on? Cut the jealousy out and the envy out. Cut it out. Because if you're jealous and you're envious, you will not prosper. I promise you that you won't. But if you cleanse your heart and you forgive those who you think even wronged you or hurt you, you will progress in a much better manner than you would if you were filled with simple hate, jealousy, envy, and all those other unforgiveness stuff. So let us tap into our gift today, but start off by loving who you are, who God made you to be. You're beautiful. You're handsome. Do you know that some people envy people for their height because they're tall? But do you also know that tall people have a lot of problems? They have lots of issues, back problems, knee problems. You don't necessarily want to be tall sometimes. Because when you're tall, you have issues going under the shower. Some shower heads are just not high enough for you. The kitchen counter is too low. The tub is too small. The mattress is too short. So let us not envy anyone for what they have. Be content with who you are and love you. And whatever your tragedy or your devastation today, I want you to continue to sing while you're in the rain. Because you will truly find out, when you read my book, Deadly Negligence, you will understand that I'm just not talking because I like to talk. Yes, I like to talk, but I like to inspire. I like to help people. I like to pull people up from where they're thinking they can't go to another step. That's what I like to do. The talking is just the gift that God gave. But I like to do those things with the talking to pull you, to encourage you, to get you out of that depressed state and bring you into the world of green. Whether you think of green as money or clothing or the color that's hip for this season. I haven't gotten some green outfits yet. Hard to find. It's even hard to find white outfits these days. I don't know what's going on. Definitely I need to have my own line of clothing, don't you think? So I put what I want out in the atmosphere. I would love to be a builder. Why? Because some of the times that I see what these architects and these builders put together, I wonder if they thought that someone was going to really live there. And who comes up with the idea that I want my kitchen in my bedroom, almost, or my dining room almost in my kitchen? It's close enough for the dining room, but I don't want my bedroom in my dining room. And I certainly don't want a bathroom off the kitchen. Who does that? Yeah, lots of architects and builders are building those kind of crazy houses. So yes, indeed, if I could build, I certainly would. So what is your gift? Because I do believe, apart from having a voice and an ability to speak to you, I do have an eye that sees things, sees the quality in things. Don't go to the store and buy something because it's on sale and it's cheap. No. Watch the thing of quality that's marked down and buy that. Know that you have worth and you're worthy. And know that you need and must receive. It's good to give, but it's also wonderful to receive. So let us look at the news today. My mom always told me that when your id is up, she calls it your id, when everything is going right in your life and stuff like that. My mom says when your id is up, take advantage of everything that comes your way. Because when your id is down, it is truly down. And it normally stays down for a long time. Sometimes you feel you'll never rise again. And I feel that way about Carnival Cruise Line today. I felt that way about American Airlines months ago when every day you would wake up and you hear the news, something bad is going on with American Airlines. Seats are jumping out of places, plane has to return, and now they've merged with US Airways, and they're calling themselves the New American. Yeah. So we can fail. We can have bad streaks, because we all do. But then what do we do with that bad streak? Because in the midst of your tragedy can be your redemption. In the midst of your tragedy, you can find the success that you're looking for. If you look, but you have to look. You can't just be depressed every day. I tell people all the time, I could choose to be crying every single day, but I chose not to. My faith is too strong. My belief is too strong. So I chose not to. So I chose to dig deep and re-emerge my gift, rebirth it through my own channel here, DianaWrightTV.webs.com. That is my resurrection. What is yours, and what are you willing to do to get there? Because you see, God, through his son Jesus, sees the heart. It's not what you have on the outside, because, I could wear my t-shirts on here every day. But what I say to you is that much more important. To get you out of your slump. Because that's my intention, is to get you to love yourself so that everything else that comes dumping on you will be easier to handle. Yes. So, getting back to Carnival Cruise Line, 2 passengers went overboard while a Carnival cruise ship was sailing off the east coast of Australia today. A vast area of sea was being scoured by aircraft and boats in an attempt to find the missing passengers, 30-year-old man and a 26-year-old woman. They were traveling with family and friends. Officers are investigating the circumstances surrounding the disappearances of the 2 people. In these early stages, though, the police say they are focused on the search efforts because, you see, the police does not want to start thinking about who might have pushed them overboard. Were they drunk and got thrown overboard? How did this happen? They're not at that stage yet. I'm sure they're investigating it, but what they're focused on right now is the search. So what are you focused on right now? You should be focused on finding your gift. And then when you find that gift and you get ready to move, then you go to the next phase, which is exercising that gift. If it's making dresses, go make some dresses. If it's cooking, go and cook up some food. Yeah, you can be a personal chef if you're a great cook. You don't have to go to chef school either. And if you think you're a preacher like Joel Osteen, you don't have to go to theology school either, because he didn't. He's a communications major like myself. But he's the most beloved and biggest preacher on the planet, really. I was going to say in the world, but yes, on the planet. People from all over. I'm told that there's a woman who lived in Iceland or something who did not believe in the whole God thing. But when she saw Joel on television by satellite, she said, yes, if this God thing is so good and so giving, I want some of that. So don't let people tell you, oh, you have to get a degree to do this and you have to do that. Yes, it's nice to go to college because it is an experience. As I said to my daughter the other day, when you are in middle school, you learn. Elementary school, you also learn. So when you get to middle school, you learn a little more than you learned in elementary school. And when you get to high school, didn't you learn some more? Yes. So when you get to college, you are absolutely going to learn some more. And you don't have to make a lot of effort to learn some more. You will automatically learn some more when you go to college. So if you can go to college and receive some more education, some more wisdom, some more knowledge, go for it. It's important. But if you have a talent, a gift of being a carpenter, or you are able to make things, create things, go for that. If you don't think the book journey is what you need. Because not everybody, we'd love for everyone to go to college, but not everyone wants to go. So if someone doesn't want to go to college, your parent, a lot of parents will be sad about that. But is that child willing to pursue another journey to a career and a good financial, stable living and lifestyle? That's what we need to do. We need to find the groove in our kids, not try to make all our kids to be doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs. We're never going to have that. But what is your child's passion? That's what you need to push them into if you see that they want to go that way. And if they change, they're allowed to change their children. Because most children will start off wanting to be a police officer until they get to the presidency. Yeah? So let's take them on their own journey, not on the journey that we want for them. So there you go. And in some rapid news this morning, the Boston bomber, yeah, he's actually found a burying place. It's outside Massachusetts. That's all they're going to tell us. And it will stay unidentified. And I hope and I pray that no one tries to find it so that, they can create a whole nother scene again. Let the brother be buried and be gone. And we're told that he wasn't really even wanted in Russia or where he came from. Wow. Are we going to ever find it in our hearts to forgive? I think we should. I think we should move on. Yes, there are still people in the hospital and they're still suffering and they're still struggling. But if we continue in the vessel of bitterness, it will only bring us down. So he's buried. Let's bury that. Focus on the brother that's alive and see what else he can tell us. I don't think he has much more to tell. I think he told the FBI most of what they wanted to find out. So there you go. Finally, a burial is going to take place or has taken place. We're not so sure because it wasn't quite explicit. Yeah? But it's an undisclosed location. You don't want your gift to be undisclosed. You want your gift to be seen and shown and known by everyone. Yes, I would love to have a celebrity wear one of my t-shirts because they would be selling off the rack instantly because a celebrity is wearing it. Paris Hilton or Beyonce or, just name a few. Even Nene Leakes, who is not so big. She's big enough. But don't wait for that moment. Start where you are because you just don't know how you're going to finish. Is there a movie maker out there ready to read my book and make it into a movie? I'm sure, absolutely there is one. It might be Tyler Perry. It might be somewhere else, someone else. Because your story and your tragedy can move someone else to get you to where you really want the story to go. Because I truly want the story to win souls for the kingdom of God. To let people begin to believe in miracles again. Just like that woman said when her nieces were found. Her niece was found in Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio. She said, if you don't believe in miracles, think again. Because God is still in the miracle working business. I'm here to tell you that. But you got to dig deep for that faith and that belief and that trust to get there. Not an easy road now. Don't get me wrong. It's not an easy road. The road is rough. The road has twists and turns. The road has rocks and bumps in it. And the journey. Because you know that scripture that tells you that, weeping may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning. No one told you, though, that in between the night and the morning, there will be hell and roadblocks and crazy people and bumps and bruises and disappointments. All of that comes before the joy in the morning. So we have to be realistic. When we read the scripture, we need to evaluate it and break it down. Because weeping endures for a night, joy comes in the morning. Doesn't mean that you're going to weep tonight and joy comes tomorrow. No. There will be hell in the hallway to get to the joy. The road will be so bumpy that you're wondering, what kind of car do I need to drive to get through this? Not even a Range Rover can take me through. Not even a Hummer can take me through this. I need something bigger. And that bigger is the supernatural, crazy faith. The power of God will take you there. So he's buried outside of Massachusetts, that is. And as I pause to welcome you from around the world and in the United States again, and thank you for joining the show, we hope and pray that you will find a way to dig deep and find your gift on this day. So, what else are we having on our plates today? Plenty. The news is quite busy today. So, there's a high school student who decided that he is fed up of his teacher and he decides to teach her a few lessons. So he teaches his teacher to teach because he was bloody tired of her repeated byes to the students and get outs to the students and her constant making of statements that, quote, "Oh, this is my paycheck." Because you see, a lot of teachers, they teach, they go to school to teach, but they're not there because they love to teach. They're there because of the paycheck. So she was being honest, but that student decided he was tired of her crap. So he took her on and decided to teach her that, yes, I am here to get an education, not to listen to your foolishness. So I remember a good friend of mine telling me that her son, who is very smart, told her that, "Mom, some of these teachers get a license to abuse children." And he was so correct. Because some of them, they give you homework that they know you can't complete because it's just so much of it. And is that homework really helping you? Or is it because they don't want to teach? Because when you take that homework back after you slaved over it all night, they didn't even check it. And you're wondering, why did I do this? And some of the teachers, they give you some projects and projects and projects because they don't want to teach. So, listen to the young ones. Sometimes they do have some brilliance and some gifts in them. So he decided to school the teacher. And we applaud him today for doing that. Then in more rapid news, Walmart has become the enemy of the banks. Can you imagine that? They are now helping to block expansion of Walmart in their territories. I don't know. Aha! Is Walmart... Walmart seems to be taking away everybody's business. So the bankers are now ticked off with Walmart. Imagine that. And as we move into more rapid news, we see that Oric My favorite vacuum. Auric, the vacuum that is so light and does great things. They filed for bankruptcy. Wow. Well, someone says too many infomercials make the product seems like my grandmother's vacuum. And they did not go through distributors. They kept doing it the old-fashioned way through infomercials, and they needed to have come into today. So, how are you feeling about your Auric today? I love my Auric. I mean, I don't use it that often, but I love it anyway. It's light, and it's a pretty good vacuum. It's kind of expensive though, but the servicing of the vacuum is fantastic. So you spend the money up front, but then you don't have to be buying a vacuum every 6 months or every year, because they do service their vacuums. So you have servicing, and I think services, some of the services is 5 years, some 10 years, whatever. I think they had 10 years, but they thought that was giving away too much, so they changed it. Maybe now they would go back to 10 years if you buy their product, since they have to now file for bankruptcy. Those are some of the stories that made our rapid news this morning. Okay, so we have Coca-Cola now. And Coca-Cola is doing something big. But is Coca-Cola actually doing this to help people who are obese? Or are they just doing it as a marketing strategy to get Coca-Cola on the front page all over again, so you can be inspired by your Coke? Yeah. So Coca-Cola, which is coming under increasing pressure from activists concerned about obesity, on Wednesday, what did they do? They vowed to do their part to combat the global epidemic of obesity. In its efforts, were immediately condemned as an empty public relations gesture by the Center for Science and the Public Interest. So they were slammed before they even started. So anyway, the Atlanta beverage giant made what it calls 4 global commitments. They offer to low or no calorie beverages in every market around the world, provide nutritional information on the front of every package, support programs to encourage physical activity, and not advertise its products to children younger than 12. Well, we have to applaud them for the effort, don't we? Yes, we do. Not surprisingly, the CSPI wasn't impressed. Coca-Cola's campaign, quote, they said, is a campaign to sell more Coca-Cola and not a campaign to combat obesity. Jeff Cronin of the CSPI, spokesman, he wrote in an email to MSN Money, adding that the company is trying to head off government restrictions on soda sales. Coke's, he continues quoting him, I'm quoting him now, he says, Coke's main problem is that its core product causes obesity, his words, not mine, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, tooth decay, gout, and other health problems. My goodness, I did not, see, I don't drink sodas, never have. The only thing I drink when I'm having a stomach ache is ginger ale, and it has to be the best ginger ale available on the market. But I never knew that Coke causes all these things. Let me list them again. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, tooth decay, gout, and other health problems. Those problems can't be advertised away. End quote. A Coca-Cola spokesperson couldn't be reached for comment. When it comes to obesity, Coca-Cola is in a bind, you see. On one hand, the company can't hide from the fact that far too many people are overweight. But is that Coca-Cola's fault? Aren't you the one buying the Coke? Aren't you the one drinking the Coke? Blame. I don't like blame. You see, I think people must take responsibility for their own wellness, as Dax from Rad Wellness would say. You need to take individual responsibility, whether you're a teenager or you're an adult or, older person. Shouldn't you be taking responsibility for your own wellness? And stop blaming Coke. A study released last year by the Trust for America's Health and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation predicted that nearly half of Americans will be obese by 2030. I won't be in that lane if they don't change their ways. So are you willing to change your ways? So just as you find your gift that God gave you, are you willing to change your ways to get to wellness and not blame Coke or anyone else for that matter? So the economic burden of the disease to society is an eye-popping $147 billion to $210 billion. That's what it's going to cost the U.S. Coca-Cola, however, has to defend its core product, which is Coke, which it can't from a nutritional perspective. Because Coke can't come and advertise to you and tell you that Coke is nutritious. They can't do that. Especially the ones with the full calories. I don't know, they have several varieties of Coke, I'm told. So the one argument that Coca-Cola can point to is that people drink far less soda than they used to years ago. Per capita consumption has dropped from 8 straight years and now is at levels not seen since 1996. Okay. So Coke leads the soft drink market with a 17% share, followed by Diet Coke, which has a 9.4% share, and PepsiCo's ranks third with an 8.9% share. So Coke rules the nation, doesn't it? And not only the nation, it rules the world, it seems, because people love Coke everywhere you go. You go to Europe, you see Coke all over the place. So, I don't know. I guess for Coca-Cola, it would be hard to avoid the fact that fighting obesity and ensuring the growth of its core product are strategies at odds with each other. Because how do you say, yes, I know Coke is going to hurt you, but you should drink it anyway. So, when a health insurer told, that's my Coke story, but I'm continuing in the realm of health here. Because I think this is an absolute wow story. And Dax is going to love this one tomorrow when we do Wow Friday. Yeah? And it simply says, when a health insurer told obese people they could either pay 20% more for their coverage or start exercising, most of them decided to get active. And that's according to a new study. So do we always have to be given an ultimatum before we start doing the right thing for our own wellness? That's not good. More than 6,500 obese people insured by Blue Care Network enrolled in a pedometer-based program to obtain insurance discounts. And the majority met their fitness goals. Absolutely they did. So what are you waiting for? If you feel like you're overweight and you're going to be charged 20% more for your coverage for your private insurance, get on the treadmill. Wellness interventions like this clearly hold significant promise for encouraging physical activity among adults who are obese. And this was said, of course, by a senior author, Dr. Carolyn Richardson, an assistant professor in the Department of Family Medicine at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. The study was conducted by researchers from the University of Michigan Health System and Stanford University. After 1 year, nearly 97% of participants in the walking program had met or exceeded the average goal of 5,000 steps a day. So how much are you walking? Get up off the sofa and start walking. This included people who disagreed with the financial incentives and said the program was coercive. For some families, the out-of-pocket cost of failing to meet the insurer's fitness requirements was nearly $2,000 more a year. Now, is it easier to get fit and save $2,000 than stay obese and have to pay I think you should get up and start walking. That's good advice. People with medical conditions were exempt if they had a waiver from a doctor, according to the study, which was published May 8th in the journal Translation Behavioral Medicine. So it's all about the brain. It's all about your mind. If you think you can lose the weight, you will lose the weight. But you got to put the effort in. Obesity is linked to serious health conditions, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes, which contribute to high medical and insurance costs in the United States. So yes, when Dax was talking yesterday on Wellness Wednesday about the fact that we need to take individual responsibility for our own wellness and come to the realization that if you need to lose weight and you're just fat and you can't get insurance and you got to pay $2,000 a year more, hello, get up and start walking. Get up and start detoxing to lose the weight and then stay on the program until you get to your desired weight. That's not so hard, is it? Food can be your enemy if you don't keep it in check. I love food, but I know the dangers of food and what it can do to you. And diet, a good diet, as Dr. Melanie always points out when she's on the program on a Tuesday evening, when we talk to Dr. Melanie Simpson, she will tell you that your diet, like the people on the Food Hospital show on one of those cooking networks, go to the diet and you can be cured in some instances from the disease that you have. Diet, crucial to your health. So Richardson said insurers are likely to offer more of these incentive programs in the future. Quote, there are ethical debates around the idea of forcing someone to be personally responsible for healthcare costs related to not exercising, but we expect to see more of these approaches to financially motivate healthier behaviors. So, I think this is encouraging and you should do this. If you're going to have to pay $2,000 extra for your health insurance, you need to get walking. You need to lose the weight. And look how much better you'll feel about yourself. And when you feel well, you normally look well. And you like yourself a little more too. Because a lot of people who are overweight, they keep saying, oh, I love myself. Yes, I want you to love yourself, whether you're fat or skinny or slim or in between. But I want you to do for yourself. If you love yourself, you're going to want to be well. So wellness is the goal, as Dax really tries to push, especially on Wednesdays when we have him on Wellness Wednesday. So, of course, you need to join us. And next Thursday, at this time, I'll be talking to someone who I truly admire, Dorothy Leeds from New York, who's written about questions, asking questions for a very long time. We're going to have her as our special guest inside the Diana Wright Show Live come next Thursday at the 10:30 a.m. hour. And lo and behold, I also found out that she's been writing a play and been performing it at one-person play. She's actually been to Florida and I didn't know. And yes, she's touring the country with her one-woman play. So Dorothy Leeds will be my special guest come Thursday, the 10:30 hour. She will teach you how to ask questions. Imagine that. She's written several books about it, asking questions. Are you able to question yourself today? Because you should be questioning yourself too. Am I too fat? Do I have too much belly fat? Because Dr. Oz will tell you that belly fat is our biggest problem. That's why I try so hard to keep it down. Belly fat. All those men with all those big guts. You need to get rid of them. It's important and you can get rid of it. There's no man with a big belly that can't be disappeared. It can be. So let's get that going on. And your insurance will be less expensive. You will feel healthier and better about yourself, and you will be taking responsibility for your own wellness. So wellness is the key here. So as we keep that in mind, your insurance company is going to now force you to exercise, to lose weight, and to stop eating so much food. Oh my goodness. Wow. They continued by saying our evaluation of Blue Care's incentivized, you hear the way they call it, incentivized program, showed a surprisingly high rate of people who enrolled in the internet mediated walking program and stuck with it, even among those who were initially hostile to the idea. Yeah. So you see, even sometimes when you don't agree with something or you hate someone, that person that you hate might be the person who lifts you up out of your depression and say, get moving. Let's go. And you might just dislike the person, but that person is able to help you get out of your rut because they're willing to tell you the truth. And ladies and gentlemen, believe me, if you have friends that are not willing to tell you about your shortcomings in a loving way, that is, they're truly not your friend. And if you do believe that everyone around you loves you, you're living in a delusional world, which I call Hope Gardens on Denial Street. So get off that denial street and come to focus. Not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone will love you. But I always tell my listeners and my viewers, when I'm on television, when I'm on radio, I always say, as long as my family loves me and I love me, I'm good to go. So give that some thought today as you search and you dig deep to find your gift that God gave you. What you do with that gift is your gift back to God. Isn't that fantastic to think of? Yes, it is. Live in the supernatural. Worship and be in glory to get to the place that you need to see God and feel God and know that He's there and He's hearing your prayer and He's answering your prayer. And when you're praying, make sure you're not doubting that you're going to get this, because you will. But if you doubt, you're not going to get it. And most of us do doubt. So that's the reason why we don't get what we ask for. And if you're not going to ask and you think God is just going to give it to you, no, you better start asking and praying about it. It's not going to just fall in your lap now. Nobody just gets money falling in their lap unless you go and buy a lotto ticket and win the lottery. That's the only time. Otherwise, you better exercise that gift and make it where you want it to take you. So, Queen Elizabeth, the favored Queen Elizabeth that has reigned so long. What is she now? 87 years old? And still going on. A Taurus toughie she is. She is a Taurian. Yes, I'm not making that up. I think she's born on April 29th or something, the day before my birthday or something like that. And of course, April 30th, I Love Me Day. It's not too early for me to be talking about it. I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it until next year, April 30th, 2014. And you got to go on the web store and buy your t-shirts. You got to do that too. Because when you have on that shirt, you know, it gives you some kind of oomph. I don't know what it is, but it does. So get one. It will make your spirit be lifted. And men, yours will only say, love me when you order. So there's not a sample on the web store, but it's available for you to get. And if you want beater, you can get a beater too. But we have unisex t-shirts. So Queen Elizabeth has decided in her 87th year to share her royal duties with none other than her son, Prince Charles. She has scaled back on foreign trips, and Prince Charles will have more roles. Yeah, you know, like him and Camilla will be going to Parliament. to the opening of the British Parliament, which is a big pomp and pageantry, which the Queen normally presides over. Charles is going to be going. With Camilla, no doubt. Wow. So 64-year-old Charles, what a long wait. Prince Charles is the longest serving heir apparent in British history. Poor Charles, he's been waiting for a long time. He's all of 64 years old and he's just getting a chance to do what? I guess we can think of Charles now as the co-monarch. So, he's a co-monarch. Yes, he is. So congratulations, Prince Charles, even though his, food thing, earthy, organic thing is not going so well. It's not so profitable. But here he is. There's another blessing coming to him, even though one is going a little by the wayside. Even though Harry has disappointed him and naked and pictures and all those kind of things. And William is always there doing the right thing. So you see, one child may fail, but the other will bring you all the blessings that you want or what you hope for. So Charlie is now going to be the co-monarch. Is that a thing? Yes, it is a thing. Right now, it is a thing because Prince Charles is going to be going to all those trips that Queen Elizabeth cannot go to or don't want to go to. Because eventually, you see, we all get old. And we all have to surrender sometimes to some of the things and the duties that we have. That is a wonderful thing. So, I wanted to bring you this story because it is an important story about creditors. You know, those creditors who call your house and they harass you and they give you, whatever, I have lots of stories here. Too many to cover in the hour, but I'm going to try to get through this one before the end of the hour. Creditors. So if your phone is ringing off the hook with calls from debt collectors, it's not likely that you feel in control of the situation right now. Some of you get depressed, you cry, you live in fear, but letting yourself feel scared or intimidated isn't good. It's not a good option to take. So go down that road and you may wind up making promises you can't keep or payments you can't afford. So what if there was a way to turn the tables on debt collectors so that you are in control of the conversation and can actually come up with a solution to put those debts behind you? I have a girlfriend who once told me that someone was calling and harassing her, and she said, guess what? I'm going to be recording this phone call and I'm going to send it to the company that you're calling on behalf of. Oops, that kind of got to him. So, you'll find 9 approaches to doing just that. Note, however, this is not about trying to get out of paying your debt, if you can afford to do so. What we're talking about right now are legitimate ways to deal with aggressive or relentless collectors who continue to pressure you to pay debts you owe but are impossible for you to pay right now because you don't have a job or you may have lost your house or whatever the case is. So if you suspect the callers aren't on the up and up, because a lot of them aren't on the up and up, though you need different strategies for stopping debt collection scammers because you have some of them who are scammers. So my advice to you, don't deal with them scammers and then debt collectors. You don't know who they are. And the next thing that brings me to this, do you know that people have the audacity to come to people's house and knock on their door to try to sell something? In this day and age, do you truly believe that anyone is going to open their door to you and they don't know who you are? Are you crazy? You know, like that old elderly woman who opened her door to, I guess, people who she thought were contractors or whatever. And while one is talking to her, the other one is robbing her. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care who it is at your door. Do not open your door if you did not expect someone. And the elderly are being snookered with this. So I am reaching out to the elderly community today, worldwide. It doesn't matter where you live on this planet. If you are not expecting anyone, do not open your door to strangers. Because even your children should be calling you before they're coming. You should have some idea that they're coming to your house. You cannot just allow people inside your house. They will rob you, abuse you, and all kinds of other things. Some people get raped by opening their door to strangers. Don't be talking about you and be nice. No. Keep the door closed if you're not expecting anyone. Don't let people come there and give you some fake badge and talk about I'm the police. If the police is coming to my house and I don't expect him, I'm not opening my door. Why is he coming to my house for? I don't know him. Unless I call the police, I'm not opening the door to the policeman. No, because there are fake police uniforms out there and fake badges to be purchased. So ladies and gentlemen, please don't do it. A big story last week, I think it was, about the elderly woman who thought she was speaking to the contractor who came to her door. And while he's speaking to her, someone else that came with him was robbing her jewelry. In her bedroom, no doubt. Watch out. So, if you're getting calls from, for someone else, you'll want to read about what to do. Because, a lot of times these collectors are calling on behalf of a company. It's not the company calling you, because the companies don't want the bad reputation of saying they're harassing and relentlessly abusing people on the phone. So, the first advice, don't wait for them to call. Consider picking up the phone and calling the debt collector yourself, so you will be in control of the conversation. Yeah? So, this person is saying that people that he's worked with say when they call, they make that initial call, they become the controller of the negotiations. Like the Republican Party doesn't know how to negotiate. When you call your creditors first, you become in control. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. And the people who are calling you, those bill collectors, please, the next thing, check them out. If they're calling you and saying, oh, I'm calling for American Express or Blue Cross or whomever you owe, and I'm so-and-so, you investigate them before you speak to them. Thank you very much for calling. I need to investigate you before I can speak to you. Okay, so check them out. Wow. The next one is you need to dump them. Whatever deal they're trying to make with you, you need to dump it back on them. If the debt collector is trying to collect on a debt that you don't recognize, or you think the amount is wrong, or you think it's too old because after a time, ask them to validate the debt. You have the right to do so under the Federal Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Did you know there was such an act? Let me repeat the name of the act. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Asking for proof how that the debt was calculated and to demonstrate it is a valid debt you owe will put you back in the driver's seat by asking them to support their claim. Why? Do you know that there are elderly people who got debt collectors harassing them and threatening them, and they actually paid debts that they didn't even owe? So this is crucial for you. Wow. So always get a validation of the debt that they're asking you for. Stick to business. Don't get in any small talk with these guys who call. You may feel guilty or embarrassed that you couldn't pay your bills. The collector knows that and may try to use that to his advantage. There is a great deal of psychology used by debt collectors. Did you know that? To create feelings of guilt and obligation on the part of debtors. Don't feel bad because you owe those big banks some money or your creditors. They were bailed out with tax dollars, money, and they don't feel bad about it. All the big banks, remember, they were bailed out. Homeowners have yet to be bailed out. So let's think of it that way. Wow. Psychology they're using on you now. Yes. So when the debt collector calls, people panic. Some people panic because I'm telling you, some of those elder people who panic, they actually pay debt that they did not owe because they said they were so harassed and humiliated on the phone by the debt collectors. And guess what? Just tell them you're putting on the recorder and see how quickly they calm down. Some of them can be nasty. I told you what my girlfriend did. Yeah, so think clearly. Don't panic. This leads you to just some more stress, fear, intimidation, and loss of control. So stay in control of the conversation by not panicking. Show them the money. This is the next one. Reach an impasse. You may want to send the debt collector a payment, such as $100. This is a suggestion by a person called Ginsburg. In some situations, collection agencies lose their commission if the file is referred to a lawyer. So they will be less likely to turn the file over to the lawyer if they are receiving some money. So send them a little bit. Could be $50. Because remember now, if you owe a credit card bill and you're having difficulty paying it, if you send them $5 a month, they cannot do anything about that debt. So if it takes you until you die to pay that debt, then it's fine. You just have to pay something. So before it gets to the debt collector and the lawyer, you just need to send them $5 to shut them up. Okay, because once you're paying, they really can't do you anything. So, all right. So you show them the money. Then you're going to ask to speak to a supervisor if they're not able to get you to where you want to go with this negotiation thing. Let me speak to your supervisor. That's what's recommended here. If a collector is trying to scare and intimidate you, write down these threats immediately and ask to talk with a supervisor. So if that debt collector is threatening you, which they normally do, they threaten you. Some of them have the nerve to leave messages on your voicemail too. Okay? So if they're threatening you, don't stand for that threat. Ask to speak to the supervisor and make a note of the supervisor's name. Always write down the name of the person that speaks to you. And if you can, catch the number on your caller ID and write it down. Sometimes they put in some fake numbers anyway, so that's a trick. So you might not be able to do that. I'm not sure if they can give you a wrong name as a supervisor, but I don't put anything past those collectors. So if you end up suing the debt collector for breaking the law in its collection efforts, that's how you get punitive damages, by writing down the names. Okay? So that of course, that information is given to you by a Florida consumer law attorney, William Howard. He quotes, if it's just Billy, the crazy collector threatening you, then they'll just fire him, he explains. But if you complain to their supervisor, now it's not just their collector that's the problem, but their internal person. Okay. And normally the next step for you to go to is to call their bluff. If a debt collector is threatening to take legal action, tell them to go ahead. Don't panic. It may not make sense for them financially to sue, or they may not have a strong case if you fight the lawsuit. They are counting on the fact that you don't know that. So, if the collection agency is based out of state, they will almost certainly have to retain local counsel. So use that knowledge to your benefit and turn the tables on them. For example, you can say, if you have to sue me, your company will have to hire a lawyer and you lose out on your commission. So, operate from knowledge. Why not accept my proposal of XYZ dollars? Why not accept my proposal of $50 a month? Tell them to take a hike. That's the next step. Under federal law, you have the right to ask a debt collector to stop contacting you. Did you know that? I didn't know that. It's best to put this request in writing, either by mail or by fax. Quote, they can still sue if they want, says Howard, but the majority of debt collectors aren't set up to sue. They are set up to set you up in their auto dialer and keep calling. Because I guess it's a cycle that, if you owe some money to someone, they put you in a cycle of auto dialing, and someone else keep calling you. So that's what they're referring to. He adds that this strategy can be particularly effective with smaller debts, as many debt collectors aren't set up to sue consumers for small amounts. The last advice, talk with an attorney. Don't be afraid to reach out to a consumer law attorney or bankruptcy attorney for help. Many offer a free consultation. A consumer law attorney can tell you whether the collector's actions to collect from you are legal. And a bankruptcy attorney can explain what they can and cannot do to collect from you. Some attorneys offer both services. So I thought that was a good way to give you some information about debt collectors who are driving you crazy, because you get the complaints all the time, So we have lots more stories, best places to retire in the USA and be rich. But you have to be rich. And of course, there's that controversy between Sloane Stevens and Serena Williams, tennis players. Sloane is accusing Serena of dumping her and not being her friend because she whooped her in the Australian Open. But Serena came out flying like a lady and said, "Oh no, I still love Sloane." Is that for real, or is that just PR? I think that could be just PR, don't you think? Because Sloane really went off on her. I'm not going to give you the whole story right now. I'm going to give it to you another day. And, we'll see how we go with that. And there's another one here that I want to, what is it now called? This one is a story about the most dangerous neighborhoods in the U.S. And Miami did not make the list. So don't think Miami's on the list. They didn't make the list, all right? So on that note, I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me today. And I thank you from around the world and in the United States, wherever you are on the planet, and you tuned in and you logged on and you watched the show. And if you don't watch the show today and you want to have some time to do it on the weekend, just go to my website, dianawrighttv.webs.com, and click on the YouTube icon at the bottom of the page, and you will see all the shows you've missed. I don't care where you are on the planet. I spoke to Mr. James in Jamaica yesterday and encouraged him to go on and click on, and he went on and enjoyed the show with Dr. Melanie. Yeah, so next week, Thursday, my special guest will be Dorothy Leeds, the woman who writes about questions, and the woman who now has a one-woman play that she's written herself. Isn't that wonderful? She'll join me next Thursday, and of course on Tuesday, hopefully we'll have Judith back from People 490 to give us tips and encouragement about business etiquette. She also has the opportunity and the ability to find you a job if you need a job. So go on her website at people490.com. If you're looking for a job, which I know lots of you are, she'll help you to find one. And if you are an employer who need to find employees, she will also accommodate you too. And of course, on Wednesday, we'll have none other than Dax Dunn from Rad Wellness. It is Wellness Wednesday. And if you hear the Coca-Cola story and you see everyone is trying to get on the wellness wagon, and even the insurance companies are now going to force you to be well, then you want to listen and you want to tune in on Wellness Wednesday. And next Thursday, of course, Dorothy Leeds will take you up on questions. And Friday, tomorrow Friday, will be Wow Friday. We will have lots of stories to go into the wow tomorrow. And, of course, we are thanking you once again for celebrating with us I Love Me Day, just past April 30th. And And we want you to continue telling yourself every single day, I love me. And look in the mirror when you do it. Feel good about yourself. Big or small, black or white, brown, blue eyes, brown eyes, black eyes, whatever color eyes, little hair, lots of hair, weave hair, no hair. We want you to know that you're still beautiful and you should still love yourself. And the word LOVE, I want you to take that word and paste it in your brain. Because when we operate from love, everything gets better and is better. And remember the way I started the show, I want you to dig deep and find that gift that God gave you. Because when you take that gift and do something with it, that is then your gift to God. If you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. October 5, Save a Life Jamaica Foundation will give you the opportunity to save a life for $30. Do you want to save a life for $30 come October 5? They're having a party fundraiser. It's a who party fundraiser. I'm not going to tell you the word yet because, they need to tell me when I can release the theme of the party. Yeah? It's a blank party fundraiser. Can you guess what's the blank? I don't know if you can. Can you just guess what the blank is? What is the blank? It's blank party fundraiser. October 5, thrown by Save a Life Jamaica Foundation. The head of the organization is Novlet Gale, and I promise you that I will give you the blank. But you got to start guessing. Guess the blank. Tell me on Facebook. Like me on Facebook and tell me what you think the blank is, because I know a lot of you are watching in Jamaica and all around the world. So go on there and tell me what you think the blank is. That's my challenge to you from now until October 5, along with, the challenge to get a woman in the White House as president in 2016. We hope it's Hillary Clinton, but is there another woman out there that can step in those shoes? Oops. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. We'll find out soon enough, won't we? So as I say to you, adios, ciao, au revoir. I hope to see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place at 10:30 when Dax and I will go through the wow stories of the week. And what is your wow story? There are quite a bit of wows this week. I even forgot to share with you the one with Pope Francis talking about the spinsters in the church. Unmarried women. That's the official name, spinster. But anyway, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Be blessed, stay prayed up, and have faith and find your gift. Have a great day. Ciao. Dooby dooby doo.